what's up guys, your driver Mike here, back with another video, helping to maximize your rideshare profits and earnings. So today we are talking about what you need to do to apply to drive for Uber. So we're going to be going over a couple of the requirements, age requirements, the paperwork, licensing, experience, and the vehicle itself. So first, let's get into the age requirements. You have to be 21 years of age or older. Now, for the driving experience, you do have to have 3 years of driving experience if you're under 23 years old. Okay, so 21 years of age is the minimum. So if you match the age requirements, let's talk about the licensing, the driver's license. You have to have an in-state license for the state that you're going to be driving in. So I'm here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I have a PA license. Moving on to the insurance, your name does have to be on the insurance paperwork for the vehicle. Okay, it can't be a parent, it can't be a spouse or a friend, or your name does have to be on the policy for the insurance on the vehicle. All right, now moving on to registration. The registration does not have to be in your name, just the driver's license, the insurance on the vehicle, but not the registration. The registration does not have to be in your name. If you meet the age requirements, if you meet the insurance, registration, licensing requirements, let's talk about the background check. So once you go to apply, I have a link below. That is my referral link. It's a double-sided bonus. So in some markets, they have a sign-on bonus of $100 to $500. You're going to have to do X amount of rides in 30 days, something manageable like 50 rides, 75 rides. So if you sign up with that link, you may get a sign-on bonus. I will get a bonus as well if you complete the amount of rides. So let's see you sign up. You hit that link below. What are you going to expect as far as the background check, right? Well, for me, it was done by a company called Checker. I've also heard that they may use a company called Higher Ease, but from my experience, it's going to be Checker. Turnaround time, expect about 2 to 3 weeks. Typically, they're actually pretty good. So it may be on the faster end of that. Especially if there's nothing that is going to flag your account. So 2 to 3 weeks on average for the background check. So looking at the criminal background check, you really cannot have any kind of criminal record. You can't have any drug-related offenses. Now, if you have misdemeanors, if you have some lesser offense like that, really it's up to the checker and it's up to Uber, because that's going to flag your account. When it comes back, it's going to say consider. It's going to say consider this flagging on the account, so you're going to be able to see it. Now, it depends on Uber. I'm not in that circle. I don't know exactly what they're going to let through, but from what I've heard, you really cannot have any kind of criminal background. So what's very applicable for us driving-wise is the Dmv Background Check. So that's going to run your driving records. Now this goes back 7 years. The criminal background check and the Dmv check, these go back 7 years. Okay. The Dmv check, you cannot have any DUIs on your record. If you have any DUIs at all, that is going to make you ineligible to drive. You cannot have any accidents that resulted in a fatality. You cannot have any major moving violations, such as reckless driving. Okay? So now if you have a reckless driving, it's going to flag it. If you have a DUI, it's going to flag it. If you have a lesser offense, okay, if you have careless driving, which is a lesser offense than reckless driving. If you have parking tickets, okay, those are going to get flagged. If you have tickets, it's going to be on there. But if it's just a parking ticket, if it's a few parking tickets, that should be okay. Now, Uber's going to see that, of course, in the report that Checker sends over. But that should be fine as long as you don't have any major moving violations. A last note about the background check. Typically, they're going to give you an option if you want a copy of the background check. Definitely make sure that you take that option just so you can see if there's any incorrect information on it. On mine, for instance, they ran it twice. They may check later on once you start driving. They may run it again just to check, and they did that. They did another report on my background, and it came up with a county that I had never lived in. So I had to resolve that with Checker, and it was a mistake, and they resolved it. So make sure to take that option, get a copy of your background check. Just make sure the info is correct, the addresses are correct, the records are correct, especially if they have misdemeanors or something on there that is not applicable to you that didn't have it. So make sure to get a copy, put that in your records. All right, so if you passed the background check 2 to 3 weeks, let's take a look at the car that you'll be submitting to drive. So whenever you submit your car to drive, let's look at the year. Typically, it's got to be 10 years old or newer. Okay, I know some markets, maybe even older, 2002, a little bit older of a car, but here in Pittsburgh, it is a 10-year-old or newer car, so 2007 or newer. So I drive 2010. I can continue to drive that 2010 car until it becomes obsolete at the 10-year range in 2020. So your car is 10 years or newer. Let's look at the condition of it. Okay, my car, it's a 2010 Dodge Caliber. You're going to have some wear and tear. I mean, even if it's a 1-year-old car, you're going to have some wear and tear on it. That's fine. You know, if you have some small nicks, some abrasions on the front of it from debris, that's fine. That's what mine has. I have a little bit of debris marks in the front of it. Nothing serious. That's completely okay. So let's talk about things that aren't okay. Okay, if you have bumpers that are not secure, if you have antenna that are not secure in the front of the car, really any body panel that's not secure in the car, anything like that. If you have hubcaps that are missing, if you have broken headlight housing, really anything that you can think of that you look at the car and it's an obvious flaw in the vehicle, that's not going to pass. And I know now for a lot of markets, you actually have to go and get a physical inspection. Okay, you have to do this in California, you have to do this in New York, and a lot of other major markets. Pittsburgh, I've not heard of it being done here, but expect to have your car inspected. Expect to take it in, to get it looked at by an Uber rep. So the outside of the car, in addition to not having any major body damage, has to be a 4-door car. Okay, it has to be a sedan. You cannot have a coupe. You can't have a 2-door on the Uber platform. So you can't have any visible body damage to the vehicle. Now let's look inside the car. You are going to have 4 passenger seats and 4 seat belts for your Uber X passengers. So it has to be yourself plus 4 other passengers. One last thing about the vehicle, it cannot have any taxi, government, or police logoing on it. So it cannot be a former police interceptor. It cannot be a former taxi like a Crown Vic. Those do not qualify on the Uber platform. One last thing, guys, when you go to apply, some requirements may differ by city. So if you have a green light location, which is an Uber help center, stop in, make sure that you satisfy all requirements for the city. For example, in New York City, you need full commercial insurance and you need TLC licensing, which is Taxi Limousine Commission. So just make sure, check with your green light location. All right, guys, that's it. You're ready to apply to drive for Uber. Make sure to hit that link below, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.